Vice Principal Airports Authority. I'm very pleased to be here for this great occasion to deliberate upon a very relevant topic of supreme importance, and that is women empowerment. Now, along with me, I have my students here, young and bright and enthusiastic about the discussion to be here, and I'd like them to be seated somewhere in front, So I think the others can take a seat at the back. The others can come in front. Anukriti, you can sit in that order. Anukriti. Then we have the next in order is Asiya, and then we have Fesby. We have Isha, and finally Suniti. Anukriti, you will come take the first seat, please. If we wish to establish a just and a humane society, if we wish to be called advanced, if we wish to be peaceful and happy, well, women empowerment is a must. We need to give women their due. Now, women empowerment is all about, granting equality, and when they say equality, it means, equality in terms of opportunities that are provided. Secondly, financial independence must be granted to them. And then most importantly, we have this freedom for decision making. That comes first and foremost. So here are a good of children here with me, my students, very spirited, very excited about the whole program. And we will be speaking on the various issues concerning women empowerment. I would like Anukriti, who is also our head girl, would like to speak on the evolution of the problem. How was it, this great country, where in the scriptures, in the very essence of the culture, women are given a very important place. They have been raised to the position of a goddess. We just over with the Navdurga Puja and so on. How did it happen that the women lost out and they were marginalized, and not only were they discriminated, but they were oppressed also? So we begin with you, Anukriti.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning to everybody. I might startle you when I say that my father, who is a student of biology, history, and anthropology, told me that for the survival of the human species, actually, only one gender is necessary, and that is the female. I was skeptical, but then I went on to understand that the current dominant role of the male in the human species has historical, anthropological, and sociological roots. Let me take you back to when Homo sapiens were evolving. For childbirth and childcare, the women were tied to the cave. In a very hostile environment, where survival itself was a challenge, gathering calories for sustenance was a difficult call, and thereby developed the evolutionary contradiction that the males of the species exerted more and hence consumed more and eventually became stronger and had a more external role. This is virtually the only exception in the animal kingdom. What flows from this evolutionary trend is the fact that the females were tied to the habitation. As humanity evolved, populations started living in communes, developing rules for themselves. Rules to run the society progressively put the females of the society at a disadvantage, and the male being at the source, and since it was expedient for the male to fend away the predators, it became the stronger half of the species. So, how do we correct this distortion which originated and got propagated with the development of the species itself? It is not an easy answer. Stereotypes that have developed and hardened over millennia cannot just be wished away. The women's liberation movement of the 20th century stressed on the financial independence of the women and the decision making in line with the women as far as extending the family is concerned. Science has facilitated both, and therefore that is where the solution lies. Once the female is free of constant childbearing, she can devote herself to other pursuits. Therefore, I put forth the point that traditional gender stereotypes at the basic level of the society, that is, the family, need to converge. This can be achieved when the men of the family share the responsibility of nurturing the children and contributing to the family in spheres other than just economic factors, so that women can find opportunities for themselves to move out and find their own way. Thank you.
Very well said, Anjali. It was, of course, the very aspect that women are the child bearers and child rearers, and that is why they remain confined to the house, and ultimately they took a back seat. They were relegated to the background. But of course, she has also come up with how things can be solved, and the family members have to play a crucial role. All have to come forward so that the women can also occupy a prominent position, if not a prominent, but an equitable and a very just position in the family and in the society. Sia, please come forward. I'd like you to speak on the gender roles that exist, the stereotypes, and please, Sia.
Good morning, everyone. Today I, Sia Datta, stand before you to speak on gender roles and how they shape our minds. Well, what are gender roles? Gender roles in society means how we are expected to act, speak, dress, groom, and conduct ourselves based upon our assigned sex. They exist everywhere around us, and they often go unnoticed as they have been instilled in our minds. It is a broad concept which has mainly been categorized into femininity and masculinity. We learn from what we observe and subconsciously associate these roles as personality traits, such as submissiveness and timidity for women and dominance and strength for men. Culture and religion play a massive role in defining these norms. The role of the wife as a homemaker and the husband as the breadwinner of the family is a reflection of these norms in our culture and society. In some religions, the roles, the behavior, and the grooming of genders are defined. Gender roles are the roots to gender inequality and stereotypes. This bias is widely visible at workplaces in treatment by colleagues and dispersal of wages. Gender roles create restrictions or molds when it comes to expression of one's identity. It causes conflicts within oneself and leads to suffocation of thoughts and actions. As times are changing, these roles are merging. Women and men are challenging these orthodox roles. Women can be seen in positions of leadership, which was once considered to be only in the masculine domain. They defy these roles by participating in the military, sports, and various other fields, and by being entrepreneurs, scientists, etc. Women who've gone beyond these boundaries are Indira Gandhi, Mary Kom, Dr. Tessie Thomas, Indira Ajay Singh, Meenakshi Arora, Padmavati Bandyopadhyay, P.V. Sindhu, Kiran Bedi, and many others who inspire young people. Men too can be seen embracing features that were once only restricted to women. Stay-at-home fathers is one notable example. The traits of masculinity and femininity are slowly blurring, and changes are taking place all over the world. An active step must be taken for eliminating such norms of genders which make our society static. Barriers should be broken, and gender expression should be made free without any judgment. Thank you.
Yes, we are very happy to hear about the restrictions which are caused as a result of the gender roles predetermined by the society. But a lot of changes have been taking place, and we have these great inspiring women, which the names of which Sia just said, and we have many more. And a lot has been achieved, but a lot needs to be achieved. Right? With that, we have first been talking about how the gender roles, how there could be a rectification, and what are the various ways in which a positive change can be brought about.
Empowering women doesn't come from selfishness, but rather selflessness. This famous quote was made by Helen Keller. Good morning, one and all. Today, I'm here to justify this statement, and I'll also be telling you where I stand on women empowerment. It is often seen that women are usually recruited in an unorganized sector, and most of them are involved in doing unpaid care work such as household jobs, and these jobs aren't prominent among men. We can also see that women are paid less than men. Moreover, men are unfairly preferred for the highest spot of the forum or any other cooperative sector, only due to the outdated thinking of the patriarchal society. There is also a huge disadvantage for mothers in the employment sector, where they usually have to take maternity leave, and because of this reason, they are not recruited for the regular work such as defense or any other cooperative sector. Surveys have also shown that 70% of women are eager to do well-paid job, but they find it difficult to achieve this ambition just because they have to do their job and simultaneously take care of their household work, creating a double burden for them. Lastly, the major problem lies in the education level among women. Literacy rate of male is 82.14% as compared to female, that is 65.46% according to the 2011 census, which is less than that of men. So I have come up with three main solutions to cure this problem. Firstly, education is the major solution to bring gender equality, as it would result in awareness among children about their legal right as citizens, equal job opportunity, awareness of sex education among them, and self-autonomy to every citizen. Secondly, we should also encourage the participation of women in paid jobs. Men should also help women in their household work so as to lower their burden. Thirdly, the problem of solving gender inequality must also begin from home. The roots of patriarchy becomes firm when a mother discriminates between her son and her daughter. A mother who creates household that shares duty among each one of its members would break down the paradigm of the patriarchal society. Lastly, the government have also taken several steps to bring gender equality, such as Beti Bachao Beti Padhao Andolan, One Step Center Scheme, Mahila Hath, and Women Helpline Number, meant to provide emergency assistance to women who are in trouble. The irony of gender inequality lies in the fact that many of the government schemes are unknown to the public. So, our government must take major initiative to bring these solutions among the people out there. They also should take initiative to bring Women Reservation Bill, which was pending since 2008. So if you want to bring change in the society, then you yourself have to be the change first. Thank you so much.
Firstly, there are great solutions for the problems that exist, and I personally believe that education alone will bring about the change that we require. Give them the opportunity, give the women the rights to be educated, and they will prove themselves as they're already doing so. With that, I would like Sunidhi to throw light on how the women have forayed into the defense services and how they are doing a remarkable service to the nation.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. It's a common perception that women joined armed forces when Indian Air Force opened its doors for women for ground duty branches in 1992 and for aviation in 1993. 25 years later, women are in every branch of Indian Air Force and they serve in the Navy and Army as well. Let me take you into history when you may have heard the names of Rani of Jhansi, Lakshmi Bai, Begum Hazrat Mahal, Uda Devi, Rani Velu Nachayar, Kendari Chenamma. The list is endless. Women have always been in armed forces, leading men and women in the battle, fighting for a cause and sacrificing their lives in the battlefield. In a male chauvinist society, especially in India, it's believed that women do not serve in combat roles, but that is no more true. in 2017, women have successfully entered combat roles as fighter pilots in Indian Air Force. To add, the women were already in combative modes prior to this, defending the air bases as security officers, controlling fighter aircrafts as fighter controllers and air traffic controllers. Women always had it in them because they were resilient, dedicated, and focused. They have been proving themselves at every stage, in all times, achieving the unachievable. Starting from Sarla Thakral, who got her license to fly aircraft in 1936, to the first 3 Indian female combat pilots, commissioned in 2018 officially. So Indian women have reached their rightful place in every arm of Indian Armed Forces, with 14% in Indian Air Force, which is over 1,500, 94 pilots and 14 navigators. 6% of officers serve in the Indian Navy and 3.8% in Indian Army, and shortly they will be joining the corps of military police as soldiers. To conclude, the places in women in armed forces is not a favor done, but a rightful claim to the rights enshrined in our constitution, which promises equality before the law and right to employment. It is important because women who are inspired by Durga and scores of women who led Indian battles have equal rights to fight for the nation and sacrifice their life in the finest traditions of Indian Armed Forces. Thank you.
That was great. Yes, definitely. Oh, wonderful to see you. Yes, Sunil.
I'm quite happy to hear that.
You are right. Okay. We are indeed very proud of our officers in uniform, and if they happen to be females, we are even prouder of them. So well done, Sunidhi. Nice to hear all that. Not that it was unknown to the Indians, right? From the beginning, we had great soldiers and queens fighting for the cause of their regions and the nation. Finally, we come to Isha Johar, who will tell us about how collective consciousness can bring about a world of a difference. Isha.
Good morning, everybody. Didn't the Nirbhaya case shake you up? Didn't the Me Too movement strike a chord with you? Didn't the abrogation of Article 377 reinforce your belief in the judicial system? I'm pretty sure the answer to all of this is yes. But how did this come about? Till a few years back, all this was normalized to us through social norms, traditions, and perceived cultures. It is ingrained in the minds of the people that getting married is the sole purpose for women. Staying in the house is their only job. That women can't become CEOs because they're too emotional. Women can't join the armed forces because they're physically weak. Establishing one gender over the other and consequent repercussions have become so violent and universal that some women tend to normalize it. They carry forward the guilt of being unworthy and justify it by self-criticism and denial. But one thing that all women facing such oppressions have in common is the feeling of anger and suffering. At this point of time, the only way of moving forward is through collective consciousness. The first and foremost step needed is self-realization. It is said that until you become conscious of yourself, the outside evils can't be won over. Women need to acknowledge the damage caused by these internalized bias. Take the example of #MeToo. It gave a number of women a platform where they could verbalize their feelings and experiences, knowing what they went through was wrong, and there were many more out there who shared the same experiences. The second step is challenging people's opinions. But how do you do that? You do that by developing a sense of questionability among them. Create pressure groups, create social movements, convince structures like the education system, sciences, and even families to change such social norms. Schools should make sure that girls aren't deprioritized during sports. Families, instead of restricting the girls, can teach the boys to grow up without patriarchal dominance. The way to go about this is to create traction through social media in order to garner numbers that can challenge people's opinions. Let's take an example of how collective consciousness brought about a change in the gender rights. Shah Bano had the courage to defy the social custom of triple talaq, but her fight came up against the prevailing social construct. However, the collective consciousness of people now accepts triple talaq as a wrong that needs to be righted. Look around you. The fact that we still restrict such conversations to only women belies the very process of achieving gender equality. Be it entry into temples, be it equal representation in the armed forces, be it equal pay parity in most of the areas, be it even equal prize money in sports, there's tremendous amount of change to be brought about, and this can only happen by changing attitudes and defining opinions of the society as a whole. Thank you.
That was wonderfully said. And how we can create that collective consciousness and bring about the change. The change is already visible. I must thank all my students here who have shared their opinions and their views and their deep insight into the matter. So well done, children. I'm so proud of you all. And women empowerment was always the need of the hour. Women were needed to be respected right from the beginning. We've had great inspiring figures, great inspiring women always, and we have matriarchal setups in some parts of the subcontinent also. Yet somehow, by and large, the women remain discriminated against, and they also were oppressed in many ways. But now is the time when women are coming forward in a big way. A lot of change has been brought about, but we have to spread it further. And I exhort these powerful women, young girls who are sitting here, not only to come out, they tap their energy, but you spread it around. You help the less fortunate women. And that is what it is going to be. And it is not that you rise at the cost of someone else. No, never do that. We all rise together. We bring out the best, and we shine even brighter. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Our next session is going to start. So I would like to request Kuljit Uppal, please come on dais.
Yeah. वापस ऑन करो.